Hello, everyone. This is Mickey here. Welcome to my first ever live show. I am so excited to be here. So I'm waiting for my guest to come on and we will get started. So I'll introduce myself. I am Mickey Agyei and welcome to my channel, my first ever live stream on this channel. What do I do on this channel? What I do on this channel is I share my life experiences and we get lessons from it. And I also share my experience of the place that I am working, which at the moment is Belize in Central America. I believe everyone has got a story, and I believe every place has got something to show. So what I do is I share the story of the places that I am. So if it's something that you like watching, if it's something that you like to escape into, I will please ask you to subscribe to my channel and come on my journey with me. But before I get on to today's video, I want to pay tribute to Chadwick the Black Panther. I am really hurt about his death. I think he was a symbol of hope and a symbol of possibility for every dreamer out there, and more importantly for young Black dreamers. And I can say that a lot of not one Black household hasn't been hit with this bad news. So rest in peace, bro, and my condolence to my brothers and sisters out there. So what is today's video about? Today's video is going to be about a woman who left New York City to Roatan in Honduras. Why are we talking about a move? I don't know if you've realized there is a mass movement of people from the Western world to developing countries, especially in Africa. And why are people doing that? I think everyone has got their own reason why they move. Some people, and I can attest to it, is the racial tension in America and in Western countries. And some people, it's economic reason. Me, I want to go back to Ghana for economic reasons. Because I think if you have a dream of becoming an entrepreneur, I see entrepreneurship as a medium or as a vessel of development. So if you want to own something and if you want to solve problems, I feel that moving into a developing country gives you more chances of realizing the dream of becoming an entrepreneur. So if you're watching me right now, I want you to put in the comment section why you would want to move from a Western country, why you would want to move from a developed country into a developing country. So why am I speaking to someone who's moved from America to Central America, Honduras? I know it's not a lot of people are moving to Africa, but a lot of people are also moving to the Caribbean, and a lot of people are also moving to Central America. And most of my subscribers are Caribbeans. So she is going to be an example that it could be done, it can be done. And two, she has done it blind. In 2011, that was when she moved. She did it blind. There weren't a lot of YouTubers giving directions like we are giving today. So we are going to learn from her mistakes, and she is going to help us. And today and in subsequent sessions that we will be doing, we will be learning from her experience. And then thirdly, she is a Garifuna. If you watch my video, you will know that I like Garifunas. Like I like the Garifuna culture. If you don't know who the Garifunas are, I will put a link in the video description of a 3-part video that I made about the Garifunas. And it's very insightful and it's very nice. I would like you to go and watch. And she was running or still running a cultural center in Roatan, and she introduced people to the Garifuna culture. So she is one of the best knowledge walking around. So it will be nice to get her on, and she will also share her experience and share her heritage with us. So that is why we are doing that. So without much ado, I am going to bring Audrey on, and she is going to introduce herself to us, and we will get the chat going. Hey, hello, Audrey. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, and you?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. Earlier I paid a tribute to Chadwick Boseman, and to me, I think he was a symbol of hope for dreamers, and to be precise, Black dreamers all over the world. What do you think about that?
Oh man, when I get the news, I woke up so, but at the same time, I woke up so inspired because I felt like I had no idea that Chadwick had cancer and he was dealing with this for the past 4 years while filming all of these movies. So it's like, how can you wake up and say, "Oh, I don't feel like going to work," or "I don't feel like working on my business," and you're fine. You woke up in the house and you have energy. You're alive. And here's this man who, between surgeries and chemotherapy, was filming movies, like real movies. So I feel like his death is an inspiration for anyone who's been sleeping on their dreams or
Yeah.
feeling lazy or feeling lost to just go after it because life is too short. And if you have in your hands a talent, you have way more than millionaires. You know what I'm saying? Like a talent can take you far if you allow it to. And I
Yeah.
just felt very inspired by him to just go hard, go harder than I've ever done in my life.
Yeah, I read a post this morning that he was diagnosed in 2016. I don't know how true that is. And between 2016 till 2020, he was in about 5 movies, including
Yeah,
Black Panther.
including Black Panther.
Mhm. So yeah, true. Okay, so I want you to introduce yourself and what you do.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Audrey, and I was born and raised in New York, Brooklyn to be exact. And I moved to Roatan, which is an island in the country of Honduras. I moved in 2011. Now, yeah, I moved in 2011, and the reason was to run my parents' business, which was a bar and restaurant at the time. 2 years after running it as a bar and restaurant, we decided to change courses and create a cultural center so we could be able to share our culture. I am Garifuna, which is an indigenous group of people who originate from St. Vincent. But I am Garifuna, and our Punta Gorda, which is where our town is actually the first Garifuna settlement in Central America. So we thought it was a big deal to make our business like a showcase or a preservation site to show this heritage and to teach people more about who we are and to inspire our own Garifuna to value our culture more. So I've been doing that since 2013, 14, around then. And I've gotten into other businesses, which we'll talk about in the future.
All
But
right.
we'll talk about soon. But yeah, I'm still here living in Roatan. I have now my YouTube channel and other online businesses, but I'm still
Yeah.
here doing my thing.
YouTube channel is Then Came Roatan, right? Where
Yes.
you yeah,
Then
you show us about, so what do you do on that YouTube channel?
I give different tips and I share my experience. Um, Everything that I go through in Roatan, it could be about raising children. I have videos about our culture, everything Roatan related. I use that as a platform to just share because so many people have so many questions about moving abroad. Some people are interested in specifically moving to Roatan. So my YouTube channel gives you a realistic view of what living in Roatan can be like, and also a realistic view of the challenges that you might have when moving abroad.
So with your move, how much was your decision informed by the racial tension happening in America?
0%. It wasn't so tense back in 2011 as it is now, first of all. And like I said, because my parents are from here, my whole family is from Roatan. My move was just based on we have an opportunity to take over this business, which is our business. And I'm a business major. When am I going to get this opportunity in America, or especially New York, fresh out of college, to be a manager for any type of business? And so I said, shoot, I'm going to leave, go to Roatan and get my managerial experience, my entrepreneurial experience, because the opportunity is here right now. So that's what made me leave. I actually
Oh,
had plans to move back. The move wasn't supposed to be a permanent one. It was supposed
okay.
to be temporary. After 4 or 5 months, my plan was to go back to the US and get a corporate job. But God had other plans for me, and I'm glad that I stayed.
Oh, okay. So from what you are saying, you did not face resistance from your friends and family back in America. Did you get any resistance?
Oh yes,
People trying to stop you?
starting with my mother. Starting with my mother, and it's not a bad thing, because as a child, as a child of an immigrant family, right? My siblings and I are first generation Garifuna American. Why did our parents leave our home country? It was to look for better opportunities. Why did my dad work 3 jobs to buy a house? Why did my mom work 12, 14-hour shifts? It was to give us a better life, because they felt like that move to America is going to give us that. So after all this sacrifice and graduating college, it's like at that moment, it was like a slap in my mother's face. I've done all of this for you, and you're going to go back to where I came from.
Mm.
But she's always been, my dad and my mom have always been very supportive of my entrepreneurial ventures and my crazy ideas. So although she didn't agree with it, she still supported the move. My dad is the one who supported me mostly. He's very in tune with with his people, with his community. And so it kind of was like a dream come true for my dad, whereas
Yeah.
for my mom it was like a nightmare. you
So
know
did you have to do some explaining? What are you going to tell people facing resistance? Do they have to do some explaining to get people to buy into their dream?
I didn't do any explaining, because like you said, my move was a blind move. And at that moment when I made that decision during the first year of the move, in my head it was temporary. So my answer to anyone who opposed was, I'm coming back. I'll be right back. I'm just going to do this. And I felt like it was easier to give them that than to explain the deeper reasons for why 10 months later I'm still in Broadon and not in New York.
True. Okay, so you said it was meant to be temporal. Why why did it turn into permanent?
A couple of months after being here, I started to. My parents, they live in New York, right? And so a lot of things were going on as far as business and our patrimony that my parents were not informed of, neither were we. And it wasn't until, you have to go to the municipality to renew a business permit or to pay land taxes, that you figure out that, wait, something is not right here. Things are out of order. Things that should have been paid for are not paid for. And I saw how hard my parents work in the US to be able to maintain their family in the US and also maintain some type of patrimony here in Honduras. So I said, oh no. There were days where I didn't see my dad at all because he worked 3 jobs. So I'm not going to leave Roatan without figuring this thing out, because that would be like throwing my whole inheritance in the garbage. And that would mean that all of what my parents worked hard for would have been in vain, because who else was going to come here, and who was going to leave America and come here and deal with this? Nobody, not even my parents, because they were busy still raising the younger siblings. So
Okay.
I felt like it was either I stay and preserve this inheritance that it's not just for me, but for my siblings and my future kids, or I go back to America and we lose everything.
True. Oh, so you saw the opportunity that you had back home and you decided to take advantage of it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so moving, I realized you were single and you had no kids. Did that make it easy for you?
Oh yes, and if anyone asks me this now in retrospect, I would say the same thing. If you're single and you have nothing holding you back, then go, because this is the perfect time for you to explore. You don't have to worry about looking for babysitters or thinking about school for your children, or you don't have to consider your spouse or your other half, how they feel. I feel like if I was married at that time, I probably wouldn't have moved, or my move would have been temporary because I had to consider my husband's feelings or what's going on in his life.
So, from what you are saying, that you will say that if someone would like to move and they are young, this is the time for them to plan. It
Oh,
takes planning, and yeah, you have to do it. So, for people with family, unlike yourself,
hmm
now that you have a family, do you have any advice to someone planning, someone who's got family? Do you have any tips for them,
oh yes.
especially pertaining to kids?
Oh yes, definitely. And the first thing I would say is think about what type of income you're going to have. Some people, they think that they can leave America and go to another country and, let's say, look for work. You have to understand that specifically in Roatan, the salaries available are nothing compared to what you would be getting in in America. So the first thing is think about how you're going to make money. If you are going to work from home, then you need to be in a location where the internet is great and you have backup energy. Think about those things first, the money. And then afterwards, think about education for your children. So do your research. Do you know about the public school system? How does it compare to the private school system? And start making your budget. Think about how you want your children to be educated. And I think I would start from there first, because once you have your income and your children taken care of, everything else comes after.
So talking about that and talking about the entrepreneurial side, making money side, and how to sustain yourself, I want to remind everyone who is watching that this is going to be a 3-week session. So our next session, we are going to go into more about the reality of living abroad and how you can use the opportunities in a developing world and the exposure in the developed world to harness your survival and to harness your entrepreneurial ability. So that will be our second one will be on the 5th of September. So next Saturday, 12 p.m. Central Time Zone. So Central Time Zone. So if you are in the UK, that will be 7 hours, so 7 p.m. in UK. And if you're in Ghana, it will be 6 p.m. in Ghana. And that will be so beneficial to you as well. And we will be sharing some entrepreneurial tips and something that you probably haven't thought about. And I think it will be very informative. Okay, so moving on. Garifuna. Who are the Garifuna people?
The Garifuna people are survivors. The Garifuna people are our story is a victorious story of Black history, and it's not just because I'm Garifuna. Garifuna people resisted slavery and have been able to preserve their culture for over 200 years, regardless of being displaced and spread all over Central America. We still have our culture. So Garifuna people, just to sum it up, we come from the island of St. Vincent, and our culture was created by the fusion of Africans and Arawak Indians, who were the original inhabitants of St. Vincent. So Arawaks married with Africans, and that's what gave birth to the Garifuna culture. Eventually, the British tried to take over St. Vincent, and we, as the Garifunas, resisted that colonialism because we were never slaves. What happened is eventually we were exiled by the British and sent to Roatan, Honduras, and established the first Garifuna settlement in Central America. Now, from here, from Roatan, we continue to move, and we created about 36 or 35 Garifuna communities on the mainland of Honduras. And we continue to spread to Guatemala, Nicaragua, and also Belize. So what's so special about us is that after 200 plus years of being exiled and displaced, we still have our language, our spirituality, our way of life. It's still there. So it's an indigenous Black culture that you don't only have to read about it in books or a video, but we're live and direct. Like, you can really go to one of those countries, in one of those villages, sit down, speak with the elders, and get to know this beautiful group of people.
I've delved into the Garifuna culture, and I had a chance to go to Dangrega in Belize to go and witness the settlement day. Does it happen everywhere? So tell us what the resettlement day is, and let me know if it happens at your neck of wood.
Yes, so Garifuna Settlement Day is the day that the Garifuna village, wherever it's located, celebrates the arrival of the Garifuna people to that part of the world. So in Belize, Garifuna has arrived in November, right? In November 19th. And so every November 19th, Belize celebrates the arrival of the Garifuna people. In Honduras, we also celebrate it, but our day is April 12th because we arrived to Honduras April 12th, 1797. So many Garifuna communities, because there's 36 Garifuna communities in Honduras. Not every single one celebrates it, but many of them do celebrate it. And because we've been recognized as a special culture in Honduras, the Honduran government chooses one Garifuna community every year to sponsor the big celebration, the big festival, the big parade. Here in our community of Punta Gorda in Roatan, regardless of where the government decides to celebrate it, we celebrate it every year. I've actually been the coordinator of the festival. This year would have been 3 times. So I did it last year. I would have done it this year, but Corona. And I also did it in 2012. So every April 12th is a huge festival. It's like a week of activities, food, music, just so much going on.
If you are watching me, if you just join us, I am talking to Audrey, a woman who swapped New York City, the city where dreams are made of, and she decided to settle in Roatan in Honduras, and she is telling us her experience. And she is also a Garifunan with a lot of knowledge about the Garifuna culture. And this led me to session 3. So we will have another session on the 12th of September, and we will be talking about the Garifuna culture, the Ashanti and the Ghanaian culture, and their similarities. We will try and delve into it and see, because I always call Garifunas our Caribbean cousins, because when I delved into their history and culture, I saw a lot about their spirituality, the food that they eat, and stuff like that. So I will put a reminder up when we do that. So tell me about Roatan, your experience. Take me to Roatan.
Man, Roatan is the reason why I love Roatan is because it's a diverse island. So you get a taste of the Caribbean here. Like, although we are part of Honduras, when my plane lands on Roatan, it's like, you got this Caribbean vibe. And when it lands in mainland Honduras, I feel like I'm in like Mexico or something, It's a completely different vibe. And on the island, we have the Afro-Caribbeans, we have the Anglo-Antillians, which are the white people who settled here. We have Mosquito people, which are like indigenous Mayans, descendants from them, the Garifuna, and there's a huge expat community of Americans and Canadians. So you get a little bit of everything. And although the island is so small, I feel like I'm always seeing someone new or learning something new because there's so many people surrounding us. So it's physically beautiful, and when you start getting to know the people, you realize it's more than just the outer beauty. Roatan just has this enchanting effect on people, and
Mm.
it goes more than just being in front of or the beautiful mountains that we have here. It goes beyond that.
Yeah, I think we lost you over there, but I think we got the message. Yeah,
Hmm.
we got the message. If you're watching, you can send me any question and I will put it to Audrey. Or if you watch this back, put any question in the comment section and I will make sure that in our next session, she will be able to talk about that subject, whatever you ask. Can you compare your life now to when you lived in America? Can you compare?
Oh, definitely. The number one difference that I see or I feel is this sense of clarity and peace. And I feel like it comes when maybe it's because we live surrounded by water and there's something in the ocean that affects your spirit and your mind. But when I lived in New York, everything was rush, rush, rush. I remember coming home from work or from school, and no one would did anything to me, but I would feel so icky, so like stressed for no reason. And it's
Mhm.
because you don't realize the energies that you absorb in that environment.
Yeah.
Whereas over here, when I had just moved, it was like I finally heard myself think for the first time in my life. I was able to process thoughts on a deeper level. And I've just gotten such a sense of clarity in general living here than when I was living in New York.
In New York. I will resonate to that. I had a phobia for envelopes coming through my letterbox. Every time I saw an envelope and it was brown,
Mhm.
I get a bit, what is there? What is there? Is that the debt collectors? Is that you get what I mean? That's one thing that I'm hoping that when I move to Africa, I will not be experiencing that.
Mhm.
Um, do you think that in a developing country, it's a bit more laid back and you feel like you can take your time to arrange things, to negotiate stuff like that? Did you experience that?
Oh, definitely. The laid back environment, but you have to be careful because sometimes being too laid back is not good when it comes to business or any ideas you want to execute. So, on the one hand, I take advantage of the fact that I can sit down, drink my coffee and just plan things out. But on the other hand, it's like I can't just let that go on till 9 a.m. in the morning. Like I have to get up and go. So I feel like I have finally found a healthy balance between the New York sense of urgency and the island laid back life. So if you could
Yeah,
find a healthy balance, I think that it would take you far in life.
yeah. So yeah, that is the balance, isn't it? And
Mhm.
this is something that some people find it difficult when they move back, knowing and being used to like moving quick, being on time. Sometimes some people back home takes it to another level, isn't it? So it's all about, as you said, striking the balance. And
Mhm.
we will be talking about this next week. We will be talking more into this like entrepreneur side next week, 12 o'clock um, CST, so Central Time Zone. So, will you be going back to America?
It's funny you asked me that because a lot of people have asked me that. And another blessing that came out of me living here is the fear of leaving New York being taken away. Because when I lived there, I could not imagine living anywhere else, not even in another state. So to just imagine myself living in Honduras, it was like, what? Why? Why would you leave New York? New York has everything. I didn't realize that it wasn't about my appreciation for New York. It was more of a fear of the unknown. So after living here for 9 years and making it and living and I'm good, my kids are good, it's like, well, I don't have to live in New York. but I don't have to live here either. So I feel more free to decide where I'm going to settle and establish my roots. I feel like I'll always have, and I'll always have some type of roots in New York because that's where I was born and raised. My heart is there, my family is there, but I don't see myself living there permanently anymore.
Oh, okay. So what have you been doing? I want you to sum it up with all the ventures, all the cultural centers, all your experience. What ventures are you, into in Roatan?
Well, starting with I call it the battle of preserving my culture because when it comes to the cultural center specifically, I find myself fighting with tour operators and tour guides who want to exploit our culture. So I've been really trying to find a middle ground where, yes, my people, my Garifuna people can use their culture to make money, and we can work with outsiders to find a sustainable way of doing things, So that's been a real battle of mine to find that middle ground and when to say, you know what, I cannot accept that contract because my people are worth more than $1 or $2 per person. And talking to my people and saying, hey, you know what, I'm trying to fight for this for you, but I need you to up your quality. I need to see some fresh uniforms. I need to see some more engagement with customers. So, finding that middle ground of providing quality and not accepting just $1 or $2 and being just like this monkey show for tourists that come. So that's been a real big part of my journey. But I feel like I found a solution, I found the answer, and it reflects in the success of the cultural center.
Before
Culture.
before
Mhm,
yeah, before we go on to some of the things that you've been doing, Live
mhm.
Life. Hello, thank you for joining us. Live Life is asking, what is the cost of living in Roatan on average?
On average, you can live comfortably in Roatan with $1,000
That is
income.
Honduras.
Yes, $1,000 income a month. But the average local person, they make the minimum wage is only about $400 a month for the average worker here. But if you're thinking about paying rent and transportation, $1,000 is just making it. Just making it.
Does Honduras do visa on arrival?
Yes, you get a 90-day visa on arrival. But as soon as you pass that 90 days, that's it. They get there's a fee that they start to charge, and the longer you stay, the more your fee increases, and you will not be able to leave the airport until you pay your fine.
Oh, okay. Can you do YouTube as well? Can you share your YouTube link for us?
I'm going to find my YouTube link. My YouTube page is called Then Came Roatan, and like I said, it's dedicated to giving people a realistic idea of what it's like to live on the island. Let me just okay, I have the link here. I'm gonna paste it in the comment section so
Yeah.
everyone can see it. Okay. Um,
Yeah, I've got it.
you got it?
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, it's not in the.
So don't worry. Don't worry. I'll post it for you.
Okay, cool, awesome.
Someone is asking if you can take us through the immigration process if one wants to visit Roatan. Is that something that you can share some light on?
Yes. So, like I said, as soon as you arrive to Roatan, you get a 90-day visa. If you plan on staying more than 90 days, what some people do is they go to a nearby country for 2 days. So, on day number 85, for example, you can take a trip to Belize and be there for 2 or 3 days and then come back and get a new 90-day visa stamp. But if you find yourself, like if you know you're going to come here to invest or to live part-time, it's better to just invest in paying an attorney to get your residency papers, because
Oh,
this you avoid, because 90 days might seem like a long time, but if you live here for 1 year, for example, to up and leave every 90 days and go to another country, it can become a hassle. So it's a better investment of your time and your money to apply for residency if your plan is to stay in Roatan for an extended period of time.
oh, okay. So basically, I can just pick my passport and just travel and get a visa on arrival.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Everybody, if you're watching, thank you very much for watching. And I've shared her YouTube link. If you want to learn much about Honduras and Roatan, a small island in the north of Honduras, go over there. And she's got a lot. She's got entrepreneurship, raising kids, and you can learn a lot from her. So finally, was it worth it?
Oh, yeah. Definitely. The lessons that I have learned here, I mean, like I said, and I'm so glad that I left when I was young and didn't have any children and wasn't married, because that's why I decided to move. But all of the lessons that I learned, I wouldn't have learned it in the States, simply because I wouldn't be in the position to learn different life lessons, like just breathing and focusing and meditating and actually thinking about what your plan is, or being more sympathetic to people who have less than you, or stop being so judgmental about people. Get to know their story first. So living in the village, living in my community, it allowed me to learn more about who my people are and why is it that they act a certain way. So instead of getting mad of, oh, why you gotta act like that? No, I learned why. I see. And if it wasn't for me being here and experiencing it, I wouldn't have learned that. So yeah, this move it was one of the best decisions that I've made in my life.
Do you have dreams of visiting Africa?
Oh, yes, definitely. I'm actually working on a documentary about the Garifuna culture. It's called Anichigu. I'm going to put it in the link as well. And so we were able to go to St. Vincent last year for Heroes Day, and it was part of our research about the Garifuna culture. So we all agreed on we have to go to Africa. We want to go and visit the village and see what similarities between the Garifuna culture and the indigenous African culture we can find. So yes, I do have dreams of visiting Africa.
Yeah, Cape Coast. Cape Coast will be one place that you need to check out. You will learn a lot. Cape Coast, you will learn a lot about the slave trade and stuff like that. And your blog.
Yes. So my blog is just an extended version of my YouTube channel. Besides the cultural center and living here, I also work from home. I do digital marketing and virtual assistant, and I feel like if I like to inspire people to go after some type of career in that area, if you are aspiring to live abroad, because it can help you to live anywhere in the world. It might not be Honduras, it might not be Ghana, but if income is your concern when it comes to moving abroad, then what you have to do is get that solidified, right? And you can do that by taking control of your income by creating a business around, any online business. I specifically talk about virtual assistant and digital marketing, but there's so many other areas you can go into.
I have a Boatin here saying, hi, I like your channel. Thank you very much for your support. And do you have any final words, Audrey, for us and for people watching?
Yes, before we hang up, I just want to tell anybody, if you have a dream and it involves you leaving your comfort zone, leaving your country or leaving your state, and there's nothing holding you back, just go. Because even if it ends up being the biggest mistake of your life, it will be the biggest life lesson. So just take that leap of faith and go. like jumping into the unknown, it can be rewarded by you experiencing something that you've never had. Like in order to do something, in order to get something that you've never had, you have to do something that you've never done. So as long as you stay where you are, everything is going to be the same. But what would happen if you leave? You don't know. And that's why you should just take that leap of faith.
No, take a leap of faith and you will learn from it. As people say, you win or you learn. So that is it. Just go for it. Go for your dream. Audrey, thank you very much for joining me. And I know that we've learned a lot from you. Thank you very much. And I will see you next week. Next week, Saturday, where we will be talking about the realities and expectation of living abroad and how we can harness the Western world and then the developing world to increase our survival and to push our entrepreneurial instincts. So thank you very much. And yeah, everybody who joined us, thank you very much. This was my first ever live stream. It's flown by. I don't know if you felt the same. It's flown really by. And I wanted to keep it at 30 minutes, but we've got to 40 minutes. If you got value in this video, please hit the like button and subscribe for more. And if you want to share it, it will be good to share as well. And please go and subscribe to Then Came Roatan. That's the link. And you will learn a lot from the Central America culture and the Garifunas. Thank you very much for watching and see you in the next video. Bye.
Bye, Mickey.